On this new episode of the Zodiac podcast, we are without Mr. Scuba Steve, but that's okay because Mr. Ben DeLeon gets the assistant pay today as we talk about the new Star Wars show, The Acolyte, how we feel about it, and for some reason we talk about Star Trek, which is not Star Wars. We talk about people that should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. We talk about crushes when we were kids and as teenagers, candy and sodas that don't exist that we loved, and so much more on this episode. You don't want to miss it. This is the Zodiac podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Zodiac podcast, a podcast about wrestling, movies, music, and whatever the fuck we want to talk about. And we are a man short because Scuba Steve chose sleep over his friends. Kind of fucked up, but that's all right. I get it. He works a lot. He's got a lot on his plate. But my ride or die, Mr. Ben DeLeon is here. Ben, how are you doing, sir?
I'm hurting. I worked, and then I helped out with some yard work, and now my back hurts, and I want to take a pill and go to sleep.
Yes, the small price you pay for being old, I guess.
Yeah, for real.
But today we're going to mix it up. We're not going to talk just wrestling. I know WrestleMania is only less than 2 weeks away. We will get into that another episode. But the first thing I want to talk about, my voice keeps cracking up here. I swear to God, it's the lack of humidity. My voice cracks all the time. I'm getting so pissed.
You're finally going through your special changes?
Oh, shut up. I fucking hate you. The Acolyte trailer dropped not too long ago. I'm curious, Ben, what your thoughts are about the show and what it's going to be about.
I mean, well, from what I understand, it's just going to be about what's going to be like pre all of the movies. And it's going to be, like the Sith are like coming back, and they're like building up their army, whatever. And like, this is going to be following, I'm not exactly sure, but I know we're going to be following that one female, and, she was a Jedi and now training as a Sith or some, it's space drama.
Yeah, from what I understand, it takes place 100 years before the Phantom Menace. So it's like the High Council and not the High Republic. And at this point, the Jedi think that the Sith are extinct, which is a line in Episode 1. They've been extinct for a millennia. But they've actually been hiding in the shadows, kind of just picking their time to come back. The funny thing about that is that the Jedi are thinking that they're extinct in the Phantom Menace. Anybody and everybody who faces this Dark Lord is going to fucking die. So I would anticipate Game of Thrones rules do not get too attached to anybody because they could die at any given notice. So,
well, if you've read the Darth Bane books, the reason that the whole Rule of Two started was because of Darth Bane. Mm-hmm. And if anyone out there has not read those books, there's 3 of them. There's audiobooks also out there.
There are.
Those trio of books are freaking insane. And it shows like how much of a force of nature that Darth Bane was. His power level and all that, how he became to be who he was, and how smart he was, and his his mind for like strategy and tactics and everything, and and to think like as badass as Bane is, Palpatine was even stronger.
Yeah, that's scary. But then again, we all know the rule of two was developed because the Sith could not control. They all wanted to have the power. They all wanted the rule. So they ended up imploding from within.
Yep.
So Bane was like, fuck this. Master, apprentice, and that's it. Rule of two, and that's all we're going to have. So, but I'm curious. I know this is sometime before that, but I'm curious if we're going to hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise in this show. I doubt it,
Have you have
but
you have you read the Darth Plagueis book?
I have not actually.
You know, the Darth Plagueis book leads right like directly into Phantom Menace. Like it actually
Really?
like it actually like part of it actually goes into the beginning of, so there's like coincide for a little bit before Plagueis stops and
Mm-hmm.
Phantom Menace keeps going. So it's kind of like Rogue One goes into A New Hope.
Nice. Okay.
That's what the Darth Plagueis books, or the book, does, whatever, and explains how Palpatine, rose to power and all this. And that's another book that I tell people all the time, like, you have to read this. Or again, there's an audiobook out there that's insanely well done.
Mm-hmm.
You can listen to the audiobook also. Check them out, because they said that you learn so much about like why Palpatine is who he is and how powerful he is, and just and even then, like, you just, from where the Plagueis book left off until when they threw him down that reactor, his
Yeah.
power level just fucking, it started out like that, and this much is already stronger than any other Sith Lord, and then it just
Mm-hmm.
got even fucking bigger as time went
Yeah.
on. So, like I said, it's insane. I listen to the audiobook at least once a year, with the Bane books and with the Darth Plagueis books, just because they're that freaking good.
Yeah. But I know when they announced the Mandal after the sequel trilogy came out and just totally flubbed up Star Wars for a while, with the exception of Rogue One, and Solo to a point. Solo really wasn't that bad of a movie. It just came out 6 months after Last Jedi, and a lot of people had that bad taste in their mouths. So they're like, "Fuck this." So when they are announcing the Mandalorian and all these other shows that were going to come out, I'm like, man, they're just going to fuck it up more. And to my surprise, Mandalorian kind of restored my faith in the franchise.
Yeah.
And I know I don't mean to cross nerddom here, but Star Trek has done the same thing with their shows, with Discovery and with Strange New Worlds. They've kind of revitalized the franchise. So I'm curious, is we're gonna get all new characters with the exception of maybe Yoda, because Yoda obviously was still teaching at that time because
Right.
he's like a million years old when he dies in Jedi. So it's one of those things where like, okay, cool, we're gonna get all new characters we've never seen before, except for maybe in the books or something like that. But I'm curious. This is pretty much the beginning of the end of the Jedi Order. And a fun fact about the Jedi Order that I found out recently, that the Jedi Temple was actually built on a Sith burial ground.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that is why they were not able to sense Palpatine, because that masked it. And I'm like, dude, that is fucking brilliant how they put that together. So June 4th, I think it's June 4th is when the show drops. I think the Bad Batch should be over by then. The Bad Batch, man, I'll tell you what,
I
that
love
show
that show.
I didn't think it'd be that great, and then I'm totally into it now. I was actually pissed off of, if you've never seen the show, one of the Bad Batch dies in the last season. I'm not going to say who, but technically, I think he's still alive. I haven't watched this episode that dropped today yet, so I'll probably watch it when we're done here.
um, well, to go back to what you said about earlier about Star Trek, I
Mm,
watched a video recently about Guinan,
yeah,
Whoopi Goldberg's character,
yeah, of course.
and they said that she's going to be coming into the new season of Picard,
Oh yeah, she
and
was. She was.
and because they brought back Q, and
Hmm.
that's like his nemesis, whatever, and
Yeah.
so they're speculating on what her powers are. and who she is, and was she a Q herself that got banished and everything, and what is her history and all this. And I was all like, man, I didn't realize. Like, I guess I did kind of realize it, but I never really cared too much because I wasn't as big into Trek as I was into Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, like, yeah, I forgot. Like, the whole dynamic there between Q and Guinan was, you know,
Yeah, it's funny because when the episode where Q introduces the Federation to the Borg, and they're in 10 forward, Guinan's standing like this,
yeah, like she has powers.
like she's about to do some shit. I'm like, dude, do it. Fucking, you know. But that's the thing, though. Q is such an awesome bad guy that you don't mind when he shows up. And see, the first season of Picard was okay. The second season was like a mirror universe, which I fucking love the mirror universe. I wish they had an actual show, nothing but mirror, like the Terran Empire, all that shit. I would love to see a show like that. And then the third one, if you didn't cry at the last episode, you are not a Trekkie. I will say that now. That episode, just a lot of fan service on more than one, quite a few different dynamics. But it's funny. We were talking about the Acolyte. We went straight to Star Trek. That's never
well,
happened to me before.
well, that's just because, like I said, I saw that video on Guinan, and I needed to get that out before I freaking popped or forgot about it.
We're gonna move on to Sasha Banks. Recently made her debut on AEW, but that's not the news we're talking about. The fact that Naomi and Bailey were in the building to cheer on their friend, and people are making such a big fucking deal about it.
Why?
Um,
They know they're
yeah,
friends.
they were friends in WWE. If I'm not mistaken, Naomi and Sasha both just said "fuck it, I'm out" and dropped the tag titles, and they were gone. And of course, I'm sure that had a lot to do with the whole Vince situation, which it wouldn't shock me if it was.
Yeah.
But in WWE, Bailey kind of stuck around, and they were still friends. And my thing is, you're supporting a friend. Period. I don't give a shit who they work for. You're supporting your friend. If they're in another promotion, then they're in another promotion. Oh well, and they, of course, they didn't show them on camera. At least not that I saw, except for like pictures from the fans and shit. But my whole thing is like, dude, they're supporting each other. People talk about we don't support each other anymore. We're all about ourselves. There they are doing it, and people are talking shit about it. That's all I saw on social media. It's like, I can't believe they're there. They're turning their back on WWE. I'm like, no, they're not. They're
supporting their friend.
And I never heard anything from Tony Khan or from Triple H about them being there. It was like, they're fucking there. Who the fuck cares? Shit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have any effect.
Well, like I said, like that time I saw Bailey at the Paramore show. Yeah, I mean, like, I knew Bailey was a fan of Paramore. That's why I wanted to say hi, but at the same time, I was like, dude, she's here as a fan. Like, I don't want to bug her. But it was my friend that I was with who decided to go up and like, hey, my friend's a fan of yours. Can you come take a picture? I'm like, yeah. Why? Like, if I was me, of course, I would happily take a picture. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, can't I just be a fan for a little bit? Just let me be a normal person,
Yeah.
And Bailey, if you're out there, I'm sorry that happened. It totally wasn't my fault.
Yeah. Yeah, she's watching my stream. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
It could get back to her. You never know. At the age of social media, I mean, she'd probably be like, "Hey, there's two, old, fat, freaking ugly guys.
Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa, I am not old."
Right. As compared to Guinan or Yoda.
or Q.
Yeah.
But if she is watching, I love that ass. Oh, Bailey. Oh my God. Bailey is so fucking hot.
You're just charming women all over the place, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. But she's not Becky though. Becky will always be number one in my heart and in my life.
Kathy Kelly.
the day she divorces that dipshit Seth freaking Rollins
Oh, you mean
is the
Colby?
day I'm happy. Yeah.
I just can't. I just can't. You know, especially with Becky's accent. You know, imagine them like, you know, messing around and she's all Colby, Colby.
Fuck. She can say my name anytime. I'm Irish just like she is. I just don't have. I have a Texas accent, not a. Don't have a wee bit of the Irish accent now, but I could work on it though.
No, don't do that no more.
No, but the point of all that is it a big deal? And I don't think it is. I think it's people are making a big deal out of nothing. They really are.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. It's like, who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares?
Yeah, like I said, I don't think it's a big deal. And the people who are making it a big deal, those are just ones that love drama and love, you know, spreading all that. It's, you know, it's not if the higher ups aren't caring about it, then why should you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if Triple H and Tony Khan don't give a shit, then why should you? You as a fan, and that's another thing. Fans get way too involved in any of this shit. You know what I mean? I I know my brother. He listens to the podcast. There was a time there whenever Brock held the title and he was a part timer, he would take that shit like, fuck Brock Lesnar. I'm like, bro, it's just a fucking wrestling show. Calm down. Oh fuck, I'm not gonna watch anymore. I'm like, dude, just let it go. It's the story. Granted, since Vince left, the story has gotten a lot better. I
Yeah,
will say that a
definitely.
lot better, and not just that, but it's the cinematography, the angles of the camera have gotten better too. So
You know, I actually saw a. You know how the you can put a petition into the White House
mhm.
for certain things, whatever. Well,
Yeah,
I saw one for when Roman Reigns was wearing the body armor,
yeah.
and it said, "This is a petition to get Roman Reigns to remove the body armor because it offers him a layer of protection that's unfair to the other superstars and all that." I'm like, somebody really took the time to
Wow.
write Congress about this shit. I was like, man, I thought I was a fucking nerd, man. Like, you all take the cake when it comes to that shit.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. They've announced the Hall of Fame class. I don't have the names in front of me. Paul Heyman is the one that sticks out the most to me. But with that being said, people that should be in the WWE Hall of Fame
um, should be, but aren't.
should be that, but they aren't for whatever reason.
Um, that's a good one.
I have two in the chamber. I'm hoping you don't pick one of them.
Hold on. Let me put it at the WWE Hall of Fame list.
Well, I will say one of them, Owen Hart. But there's a reason behind that. His wife does not, his widow doesn't want him in a represented by a company that just kind of swept the death under the rug, which is her perspective. I wasn't there. I didn't see, I didn't. I obviously don't work for WWE or anything like that, but they acknowledged it, and it was one of those things where Shawn Michaels did something similar at WrestleMania. I think that same year, where he came down from the rafters on a zip line, and so Owen was like, "Well, I want to do it too." And then we all know how that story tragically ended.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the wife definitely is like, "Fuck that." They've done a lot of things in AEW for not just Owen, but also for the Von Erichs and stuff like that too. So that is definitely one person that I feel should be in the Hall of Fame in WWE.
I would say the Hardys.
But I think they need to finish with their time in AEW before they do that because they're still under contract, and I think that's a big thing.
Yeah,
Like,
but still, you think Tony Khan's gonna say no? You can't go over there for if they're to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I mean, that only that only
yeah,
benefits AEW because then they could be like, yeah, Hall of Famers Matt and Jeff Hardy are here. You know,
I think they don't want to ruffle feathers, which I get. They don't want it to be the Monday Night Wars all over again. They just want to coexist, so to speak. But yeah, the Hardy Boys definitely. The Dudleys are in. Are Edge and Christian in the Hall of
I
Fame? I
don't
don't
know
think
if they're
so.
in together.
I know they're in individually, but not together. That's another tag team that deserves to
But
be
you
in
know,
the Hall of
they weren't
Fame.
even a tag team for that long, to be honest. It's just they put out such good content while they were
Yeah.
together. I mean, that 5 second pose, dude, that
Uh,
was awesome. I love that shit.
and people were doing it.
Yeah.
5 second pose. A bit of those with flash photography. We'll do a 5 second pose, and then
I was talking to Joey Black earlier, and I was all like, "Man, it's like y'all, you know, it's y'all got to do something. What to call it? About your more gimmicky, whatever, to get people involved, to get the crowd, crowd involved.
yeah.
But
Speaking of all content, you saw the promo I cut on Draven, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love LA Knight. He's awesome. Um, and then another pick that I have for the Hall of Fame, which is going to be controversial, Chris Benoit. Now,
it'll never happen.
I know it'll never happen, but here's my take on the whole thing. And I know people are going to watch this or hear this and be like, "Oh, he killed his family." I'm not taking that away from this. Everything he did to his family is fucked up, and it's just you can't forgive anything like that. However, everything he did prior to that, in the ring, on the mic, everything he did prior, he was awesome. He was a great one of the greatest technical wrestlers I've ever seen. And I've been watching wrestling since '85. So I've seen guys come and go, but Chris Benoit definitely, the fact that he's Canadian, he stuck out in my mind, and I kept track of that career for a while up until the tragic end. But I know it'll never happen. But the topic was people that should be, not people that aren't. So he should be.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Oh, and I got another one.
Sure,
Chris
shoot.
Jericho.
Yeah, that's long overdue. That is long overdue.
Because I mean, you think about it. Who has been more relevant longer than Chris Jericho?
Hulk Hogan.
He's not
But,
really that. He's not really that relevant.
Well, he's only relevant when he's dropping like f bombs and saying the n word and shit like that. So
yeah. I mean,
well, let me tell you something, brother.
yeah. Like I said, I was so upset when I found out about and I'm just like, man, like really, like, come on, dude, like. And this is a guy who supposedly was like friends with everyone and all this, and like,
Yeah.
But this is who you really are. Okay.
I know who they're not going to put in the Hall of Fame, and my brother will be so upset. It's Fandango.
What the hell did he do?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
You know who deserves to be in there. If you're gonna put Fandango in there, you got to put Breeze in there too.
Oh, Tyler Breeze? Yeah. Okay.
Because them
Breeze.
as a tag team, as a comedic tag team,
yeah,
one of the greatest. I mean, the freaking when the Usos were doing the day one ish, and then they're like, day one is H, like like what is H? We gotta find out. So they put on the cop uniform and all that. Like we gotta figure out what H is.
Well, if you're gonna put in somebody that's comedic, R-Truth.
Yeah.
And the dude's been there since 2000.
Yeah, I mean, who's been there longer than Truth?
Nobody has been there longer. Nobody. There's probably camera dudes that probably retired by now.
Oh, you know what? I forgot that Truth used to be known as K Quick.
K Quick, that's right.
And I was all like, yeah, I remember that dude. I remember his time in TNA, and I was a fan of his there. And then when he came back, I was like, oh shit, like that's Ron Killings, like.
I will say this, that CM Punk coming back to WWE, that may solidify his shot at getting in the Hall of Fame. especially since now that him and Triple H have kind of come to an agreement, and I think a lot of that was Vince. I don't think it was Triple H. I think it was Vince.
Oh,
Vince just, yeah. Vince had a particular pattern he had for his superstars, and CM Punk didn't fit the mold, but yet he put asses in the seats. People, when he came out on Monday Night Raw in Chicago, that fucking roof flew off the building. It was fucking loud.
Yeah.
Like every time he comes out, especially in Chicago, it's a loud ass pop. So,
which is weird because you never who really associates CM Punk with Chicago.
Well, his name is Chicago made.
I'm joking,
which I'm not gonna lie. I thought the CM stood for Chick Magnet Punk.
Well, he changes it because people ask what it is, and he's like Chicago made or Chick Magnet, or one of them he said was that Cookie Monster. And
actually, I could take his name and call it Christopher Michael Punk because that's my name.
Well, do it.
Christopher Michael Punk. I can't. It's copyright.
What about Josh Zodiac Punk, Jay-Z was JX? No.
Jay-Z Punk.
No,
that's too close to GXM, and
I fucking hate that. That's what I'm saying.
No, sorry. Yeah, never. No, the name is there. We've already gone over where the name came from. It's not.
We miss you, JXM.
No, we don't. Fuck you.
Don't be bitter. Don't be bitter.
I'm sorry. I got a text from Trip McNeely. He said, "Fuck that puto." Is what he said. So, yeah, that's what I got to say about that.
Who had more passion in that business?
I know this is off topic, but yeah, definitely. As much shit as I talk about JXM, with the bald spot and the fact that he had three moves of terror, he might as well have been John Cena. The dude had passion. The dude had heart, and
no one was happier to see you at an event than JXM. And he always went out of his way to let you know how happy he was to see you there.
Now, I will say that there were times that he didn't sell properly, or he didn't want someone to go over, but it was a temporary thing. It's like, I get it. You want to be on top. I totally get that. But right now you're going down, so fuck off. There's even video early in all content where I'm hitting him with a kendo stick, and I didn't hold back. I was like, "Fuck this," and I took it out on him. And I was hitting him in the back. I wasn't hitting him in the chest or anything. I was hitting him in the back. The back can take more punishment. But he didn't have any whelps or anything on his back, so I felt better about that. So the moral of the story here, kids, is hit them in the back.
Or maybe Joey Back just hits harder because he's a Ronin.
He's not. He's not a Ronin. Fake ass Ronin. Oh, I wanted to say something fucked up, but I'm not going. Yeah, fuck it. If he could keep a girlfriend for longer than 2 weeks, maybe. But, yeah, that was Trip McNeely coming out there. This is not on the topic list, but I'm gonna bring it up. Celebrity crushes you had as a kid.
I had as a kid,
or up until teenage years.
My was it teenage crushes that I have now?
Fuck.
Okay.
Really?
No, I mean, shit. They said growing up, the first female that really made me pay attention to like, hey, there's girls out there.
Besides wifey sauce.
Well, of course.
Yeah, duh.
That goes without question. There's like levels of hotness, and she's like 4 levels above, the ultimate. But like the first girl that I was ever like, oh shit, like was Tawny Katane. And from the Whitesnake videos, and then from like Witchboard and all that, and I was like watching her, like I said, on the dancing on the top of that car, and I'm just thinking like, man, I gotta get me a redhead, and that kind of started my whole kind of obsession with redheads. Like so like they said, for the longest time when I was single, it's like where's my redhead? I gotta get me a redhead. And I remember people telling me like, dude, you need to stop. Like, I'm like, I can't stop till I get my redhead.
And it's funny because I got my redhead recently, and she dumped me for her cousin. So what can you do? It's on my TikTok. It's not. It's nothing. Nothing. It wasn't me. I didn't make her do this. This is what she chose. So hell with her. My first, besides every boy in the '80s loved Princess Leia. That's off the table because that's especially the bikini. Just oh, oof. And
Yeah, I
being
didn't
able
know.
to
I
just
didn't know Carrie Fisher was built like that. Let's put it that way.
she made me go through puberty at 7. So, little early bloomer. Erin Gray, she played Colonel Deering on Buck Rogers. She wore spandex suits every episode. She was just, oh my God, she was ungodly hot. Her and Linda Carter both. It's like,
Oh,
woof.
dude, Linda Carter.
Linda Carter. Woo. Fuck. Yeah, I gotta adjust because
Oh
thinking
wait.
about
Oh
Linda
yeah, yeah.
Carter.
I'm looking at
Yeah.
your Linda Gray. Like, yeah, I could see it.
Erin Gray, yeah, she's fucking hot. She was back in the day.
Oh no, I'm getting my females confused. And then we'll call it Sophia Loren.
Yeah, okay, I could get behind that. But if you're talking about redheads, Anne Margaret,
I see that's a different type of
she's a natural redhead.
that's a different type of like redhead.
Hey, there's
Because
only
like when
one
I
type,
picture
red.
because when I picture her, like it doesn't give me the same kind of vibe. Like, okay, remember that TV show Remote Control?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the female
Kari
co-host?
Kari were,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um. Hold on.
She was in that Stephen King movie Thinner. Actually, she was one of the gypsies that put the curse on him.
So like, I mean, I don't know if she was like naturally a redhead, whatever, but I remember seeing her like, and she had red hair, and I was just thinking like, oh my god, this chick is like fucking gorgeous.
Now Kari were is a brunette. Like she always reminded me of Marissa Tomei for some reason. But
And then she was in the movie Eight Legged Freaks with the young
yeah.
Scarlett Johansson.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, when Scarlett was a redhead, like who in the world was hotter than that? Literally nobody until Haley
I
Steinfeld showed up.
oh I do know how 89, 90, I was 13, 14 years old. Was madly in love, would have killed for Paul Abdul, straight up.
Now tell me.
I Now it's funny because I follow her on TikTok, and she did a comment or she made a post, and I made a comment like, 15-year-old me is still, 15-year-old me loved Paul Abdul, and me in my 40s, I'm still in love with Paul Abdul. She not only liked my comment, but she replied. Do I remember what she said? Nope, because I fucking died for like 5 minutes. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. I am so fucking dead now. Paul Abdul's liked my thing. Ah.
Well, like
I was,
there's this woman on YouTube. She's a
yeah.
dancer, content creator, whatever. Her name is Megan Batoon. So she did a live on TikTok, right? And I've had a crush on this chick for years, and I never thought like you see all these comments going by. Like I was like, oh, I'm just gonna say something just to say something. Like maybe she'll read it, maybe she won't. And it just so happened like when I sent the message, is she was looking away from the camera, and then she came back and she read it and she goes, "Oh Ben, blah blah blah." And she answered my question, and Sandra was sitting right next to me, and I was all like, "So babe, I guess things between me and Megan are getting kind of serious. So I'm gonna need you to pack your things and head out." She's all like, "Whatever."
Wow. Another thing from our teenage years, and it's resurfaced now, is Rogue from the X-Men. Just that one image of her fighting Apocalypse with that big old fat ass. Like, oh, Rogue. Not bad for a Southern gal. Yum.
I always liked the way she said sugar.
Yeah, it definitely got my motor running. Anybody else you can think of
Um,
from the teenage years?
Samantha Fox.
Damn.
Samantha Fox was like the first pinup kind of,
Yep.
sent off for her poster. Saw it in a magazine. I was like, oh, I'm sending off for this poster. Because it was
You
like
know,
the only way I was able to see like boobs without getting into trouble, because the only other
mhm.
way was in my dad's magazines. And
Yep.
I was
My
supposed to not know where those were.
Well, see, it's funny. Off topic. My dad had Playboys, which we ooh, but my dad had a secret stash of Hustler magazines, and that was my first introduction to the vagina. And I was like, "What the fuck is that? Ah, that is nowhere near what I got." And then, of course, I learned later on that boys have a penis and girls have a vagina. I was like, "Fuck,"
Which in this day and age,
is not commonplace apparently. Um, there was another one. The last one up top of my head, and I feel bad for not mentioning her first because she is from Corpus Christi, Miss Farrah Fawcett. Mm.
I
Yeah,
don't know. I
yeah.
guess that was kind of before my time.
Oh fuck you! We're the same fucking age. Oh fuck off.
Because like to me she just looked like one of those girls from the 70s, and I'm just
Yeah,
like she looks pretty, but she also kind of looks old,
yeah,
like even back then. And she just didn't do it for me. Now I'm not saying I'm not going to be one of those people like, oh, she's gross, whatever. I mean, I can see why people liked her. She just
yeah,
didn't appeal to me, like personally. So
yeah. I get
um
that.
like even Selena, dude, like Selena, people think like, oh my gosh, she's so gorgeous. It's like she was okay, like at the time. She's still kind of okay, but I don't think she's like so iconic the way people make her out to be.
Yeah,
But I mean, again,
I get
it's
that.
just not my thing. Doesn't mean she's a bad person or, whoever likes her is stupid. Like, no. It just means that for me, she just didn't do it.
Yeah, agreed. I didn't know who she was until she passed away. But then again, I am the Caucasian from the mountains of Caucasana. I don't know. I didn't know who the fuck she was. My buddy Jim was all Selena died. I'm like, who's that? Your cousin? I don't fucking know who that is.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about? The singer. Like, I no, don't know who that is. And then I heard he said Bitty Bitty Bomb Bomb. And I went, oh, her. Oh, that sucks. But actually, that anniversary is coming up soon on March 31st, wasn't it? I
I
want to say.
don't know.
Why do I remember that? I don't know. But I
Say, to be honest, I don't know. Like I said, I really don't pay attention to. Like I said, to me, like it's just I I don't know. Like I said, I don't care.
now I have to. Yep, March 31st, 1995. Damn, it's been a minute.
um,
Oh,
like I said, to me, people who like obsess over celebrities like that much have something like
wrong with them.
yeah, like
Yeah.
and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I did read a study that says if people who like worship celebrities have some kind of like cognitive like learning disability or something like that, or I forgot exactly how they put it, whatever. But
Mhm.
I had I don't even want to say a friend, just associate, somebody that I know who was one of those people who worship celebrities. I had
Yeah.
made a joke about Demi Lovato and
Oh
something
boy.
about a junkie,
Yeah.
and because she had put a post about Demi Lovato, and I said
Yeah.
something about like a spoon and a lighter or some shit like that, and she messaged me. She deleted my comment, and then she messaged me like,
Oh.
I happen to like Demi Lovato, and I don't appreciate you talking things about her and all this, and I'm all like, do you think that Demi Lovato actually gives a damn about you? Like, I've heard
Boy.
so many stories about what kind of person she is. Like, do you
Hmm.
think like she's gonna be like, "Oh, you stuck up for me. Let's be besties"? I was like, "That's
Yeah.
not gonna
Yeah.
happen."
Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what? That's cool. You can delete the comment. I won't be upset by it. So she's like, "All right, thank you." And then I just fucking blocked her on Facebook. she, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna unblock her, see what happens. And she sent me a friend request and all this, and I accepted it. But she still worships celebrities, you know. And like, I don't know if
Ugh.
this person is like on the spectrum or whatever, but I know, like I said, she for I can't say like I know for a fact, but she does it all the time. Like, oh my god, like are we gonna watch the Grammys? Are we gonna watch the Oscars and all this? Like, no, like I don't care about that shit. Why do you keep asking? It's like every year I have to tell you, like, no, I don't care about that.
Yeah. I mean, I used to watch the Oscars with my mom, and then it started getting political, and I'm like, yeah, I'm
Exactly.
done.
That's why I don't wash it. Or, wash it. All of a sudden I'm freaking uh, from
Yeah,
from the
you're
bluff.
doing the washing machine. We're talking about Selena. There you go. The washing machine. That's a bra.
No, but like I said, I just don't I don't see the appeal of. I mean, I could get, like I said, like I make jokes all the time about how hot Haley Steinfeld did, and she is. But
So I've heard.
I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, like what is she doing or who is she dating? Like I don't care. It's like it's all just a freaking distraction anyway. But at the end of the day, they're just a person. They're just a normal for they freaking
Yeah.
eat, sleep, poop, just like we do.
I prefer not to
And
know about
usually,
that.
like some of them, all at the same time.
Yeah. Hey, hang on, Ben. I'm in here taking a shit. Don't come in here. Haley.
Right? They're like
Uh,
Haley Steinfeld saying, "Don't go in there. I just dropped a log."
I just went to Kiko's and got some really awesome Mexican food. I just dropped a big old log in your toilet. Like,
And I'm all
you'll be
like, I've never been so turned on before.
you'll be like the fucking chicken Family Guy when she was supposed to go to prom with Peter, and she goes to the bathroom, and apparently Peter took a shit in her toilet, and she has not flushed it in 20 years. It's still sitting there. And she's like, she's looking at the toilet. At least I've got you. And she pulls out some pet food, and she's all, "Are you hungry?" Like, oh God, ew! The turd has come to life. The corn regenerated and made it a person. Um, ugh. Moving on after that, talking
Yeah,
about shit.
yeah, from Potty Talk.
Potty talk to candy or sodas that don't exist anymore that you loved.
um, see,
Surge, surge,
oh yeah,
surge,
the
surge.
surge. I
Surge.
was gonna say that. What was that? That. No, because that's still around. I was gonna say Tab, but that's still around.
No, they discontinued that.
Are you sure? Because I
Um,
remember seeing it not that long ago.
I don't think they make it anymore.
Well, let's find out. We got all of the information of the world at our fingertips.
Oh, they okay. They do still sell it. My bad. I thought they stopped making that.
Yeah, see?
See, if they're gonna discontinue a soda, they need to discontinue Mister Fucking Pibb.
Dude, no way. Look at this shit. Okay, 12 fluid ounce Tab Cola, 12 cans, $455 on
I
Amazon.
just saw that. That's the first image that popped up. I was like,
Like, what
fuck.
the heck?
Oh, here it is right here. Discontinued in 2020. There it is. So you can buy it, but it ain't gonna be cheap.
Okay, and do you remember Crystal Pepsi?
I loved Crystal Pepsi. They brought it back for a minute and then it
Yeah,
went away
now it's
again.
gone again. So Crystal Pepsi was another one.
There was a Dr. Pepper back in the mid 90s called Dr. Pepper Red Fusion. It was red in color instead of the brown, but it was actually really good. And on the lines of Dr. Pepper, they also had Super Pepper, which was double the caffeine. Like they were trying to compete with Jolt. So, Jolt Cola was just disgusting. It's gross. I never was a fan of it. But Dr. Pepper, I drink the fuck out of that shit. That's the one thing I hate about Oklahoma is I'll go to like Taco Bell or someplace and I'll be like, "Can I get a Dr. Pepper? Is Mr. Pibb okay?" No, it's not okay. How fucking dare you? How un-American are you to not have Dr. fucking Pepper in this establishment?
Honestly, dude, like when I go somewhere and especially if they have the Pib extra, dude, I'm gonna get me an extra, dude. Like I remember the first time I tried it too was at an amusement park, and I saw that it said Pib, I'm all like, "What's that?" And the ladies are like, "Oh, it's like Dr Pepper." I was like, "Okay, I'll try it." And I tried it, and I was like, "This is way better than Dr Pepper." It's like this is incredible, and I can't wait to get more of it when I get home. And then I couldn't find it anywhere. But when I do see it, I always make sure to get it.
Uh huh. Yeah. Uh,
Now I'm looking at all
yeah.
these discontinued sodas.
I'm looking for candies too. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I
Dude,
mean,
there's
half the
a
stuff.
Yoo-Hoo diet chocolate fudge soda.
Ew, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm looking up candies that are discontinued, but I can't find anything. I know it's not really a candy, it's more of a gum. It's like the Fresh Mint that had that gel in the middle of it.
Oh yeah,
You know, my mom used to call it cum gum. So yeah, yeah.
yeah.
The
Thanks, mom.
Butterfinger used to have a Butterfinger BBs.
Oh yeah, I do remember those. I remember the
Oh,
Bart
you
Simpson.
know, you know what? Candy cigarettes. Every Halloween, I got like 4 boxes of them motherfuckers.
Yeah, and you could like puff on them, whatever, and they would like
Well,
actually
they're,
blow out the sugar.
yeah, some of them did. Some of them were just these like the pixie sticks type of thing, or not the flavor sticks that you dip into the. Yeah, it was like made of that same kind of candy. Um, I would say Bazooka Joe gum, but I see those all the time in the Dollar Tree here. So
So
I th-
they had these things that were kind of they're called Astro Pops.
yeah,
Okay, now I used to love those because whenever I was a kid and I had a loose tooth, those things were so freaking sticky that like you could bite into it and it would like glue your mouth together. And then it would like stick to your teeth. So when you open up your mouth real quick, sometimes if you're lucky, it would rip out your like loose tooth.
oh Jesus.
So
Or
not only did I get a delicious treat, but I also got money later on when I put
fuck.
that under my pillow.
Uh, Lifesaver holes, like donut holes, but lifesavers.
PB Max.
I remember that. That was actually a good candy bar. That was a great candy bar. I wish they still made that because it was so good.
One of my favorite candy bars, very underrated, is whatchamacallit.
I love whatchamacallit bars. I don't eat them often, but when I find them, I'll grab like at the mini mart here on base, they have a like a supersized whatchamacallit, it's like $1.50. And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, we buy 3 of them bitches and throw them in the fridge. Because we all know a candy bar is a lot better when it's cold.
Oh
Just
yeah.
throwing it out there. Others, I'm trying to think of other sodas too, because a lot of they used to have a Bubblicious soda, like the bubble gum type of soda.
Yeah.
That didn't last very long.
Dude, there was this real Ghostbusters Slimer bubble gum.
Yeah,
Came in a tube.
or this is probably before our time, but I do remember having some when I was real little. They were called Hershey's chocolate candy. They were the cherry blossom.
I thought you were saying like the Hershey's chocolate. I was like, no, that's still around.
No. It was called a cherry blossom,
Cherry blossom.
or wacky wafers. I remember those actually.
Yeah.
Those were like the soft and chewy sweet tarts that they were the big. They were like a good sized chunk. And then I still see these too. The Necco wafers.
Yeah.
Was never a fan of those though.
Now
Those were
see,
kind of
there's these right here that remind me of wifey sauce. They're called nips.
thank you for that. Or bubble jug.
Yep.
It was
Even
powdered bubble gum.
even more stuff that reminds me of her.
Wow. Or they had a s'mores candy bar from Hershey,
What?
and then they had bar none, PB Max, they've been talking about bringing that back for like forever, and they just haven't done it yet.
Bonkers fruit candy,
Yes,
extra
bonkers.
flavored boosted center.
Yes, I do remember those.
And you know what's weird? Those like, oh, spearmint certs,
Yes,
the mints.
certs in general. I don't think they make those anymore.
I don't know. Like I haven't seen them around anywhere. But then I was gonna say like I really don't even eat that much candy anymore. Like
I don't either. Well, you talk about whatchamacallit. They had a candy bar called Thingamajig.
yeah, I remember that one.
A candy they should get rid of is fruit stripe gum. That is the worst bubble gum
I
ever
thought they were
made.
discontinuing fruit stripe.
If they are, I've that's news to me.
That was the best tasting gum for like 10 seconds.
Yeah. They also had a popsicle or a lollipop that was in the shape of a whistle that actually whistled.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who made them, but that and Wonka made Tart and Tiny. They're just little bitty like Spree. Like that's I think they still make Spree actually. Now that I think about it.
Tiny tarts. No, I was gonna make a joke, but I better not.
No, do it. Fuck it. Do it.
I was gonna about my ex.
Oh,
about
fuck
being a
it.
tiny tart.
Ew, yum. Yummy, yummy.
I don't know if you'd want to eat that.
Nah, probably not. Do they still make Mars bars?
As far as I know.
I don't see those anymore. Or Willy Wonka had a donut, Wonka donuts, which was just candy.
Oh, dude, remember Gatorade gum?
I do. They still make it.
Do they?
Yeah, it's hard to find, but they do make them.
I used to really like that stuff.
I'm looking through YouTube, see what I can find here, like the Lifesaver gum. Oh, the Lifesaver holes. I already talked about that. Wonka dinosaur eggs. Ew.
Oh,
Hubba Bubba made a Dr. Pepper cherry flavored soda. That's fucking bubble gum. That's actually pretty cool. Oh, that's right. Uh, was it Pringles or I forget who did it, but they made chocolate covered potato chips.
yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. And then the not the fruit by the foot, but it was the bubble gum that was like 6 feet long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I've been up since 3.
Am I boring you now?
No, as I said, I've been up since 3, and it's as the time of this recording, it's 6:55 at night. So I am freaking tired.
Well, I think that right there should be the great place to stop this episode. So, Mr. Ben, if you want to give out your socials to promote yourself and or your podcast.
Sure, but before I do that, Ninja Turtle pies
Oh fuck.
and the Ghostbuster pies, whatever, with the Slimer that was all like green inside.
The ecto coolers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are my jam. I used to stop at the store on the way home, and I would get one of those Slimer pies, whatever, and I would eat that. But yeah, okay. Anyway, so you can find me at I am Ben DeLeon on all the socials. You can follow my podcast, Recycled Corn, on Facebook, Instagram, and X. And follow me on Spotify, please. Leave us a review. If you want to send us a question for Recycled Corn, you could do so at recycledcornpod@gmail.com, and we would love to hear from you. So,
Yeah, and I'm a sometime guest on the Recycled Corn, so it's always a good time. Did you and Scuba record on Tuesday, by the way?
no, we did not.
I didn't. I had a feeling y'all weren't. As for myself, you can find me on social media. On Facebook, you can find me under the Zodiac. It'll have my real name on there. If you add me on said Facebook, let me know you are a fan and a follower of the Zodiac podcast, and I will add you to my list of friends. Also, we have a Facebook page just for the podcast. Just search the Zodiac podcast and give us a like and a follow. We'd appreciate it. If you have a question, comment, or concern, or even topics you want us to talk about on a future podcast, you can email the show at thejazzzodiacpodcast@gmail.com. And you can find my podcast on YouTube as well as Spotify and Spotify for podcasters. Just search the Jazz Zodiac Podcast. I am working on getting us on Apple and possibly even on Amazon Podcast as well. So, with that being said, any last comments or concerns, Mr. Ben?
Yeah, I got this spot on my lower left cheek.
No. That's not that kind of show. I am not your assistant. That is Scuba's job. And he's not here. So no.
I know. What the hell am I not paying that guy for?
He chose sleep over the podcast.
That bastard.
And it's funny, the last podcast we did, he's like, "Oh well, you're making us sound like I haven't been here for all of them. Officially now you are under 3 episodes and you've been on 1. You're slacking, Scuba, but it doesn't matter. I fucking love you to death. You're my brother from another mother." Well, with that being said, this is the Jazz Zodiac Podcast along with Mr. Ben DeLeon. I am the Jazz Zodiac. We'll see you next time. Make it so.